Namaste. Good morning. Welcome to your yoga practice. Thanks for turning up this morning. So we're going to begin our practice just for a moment with getting comfortable in our seat, even before we say our invocation. So just getting comfortable, making some circles. Our asana. The word asana truly means seat. And so trying to find a place where we can find ease and strength in the pose. Go ahead and bend your knees, put your feet on the floor for a moment, and just butterfly your legs open and then butterfly the knees together. Let your feet move with it. Butterfly, feet are folding up, come up. Good. A couple more times. And then a little bit of internal rotation on each leg. So just take back the right leg for a moment. Just sit with it for a moment. Notice what happens on the quadriceps, where you feel any sensation. And then bring it back. And the other one, left one, in internal rotation. Just let it be there for a minute. You can notice which of the quads is really tight or not. Good. And bring it back. And then again, butterfly open for a moment. Go ahead and take one heel of your right leg, and just set it close to your sit bone, to your left sit bone, about 3 or 4 inches, maybe 5 inches in front. And then take your other leg and just set it up on top for a minute, just right on top. So the side of the heel is going right into the bend of the knee for just a moment. Let it be wherever it is. You can even make a little basket and hold it for a moment. Good. And then we're going to do the same. So taking your left foot and bring it up about 3 or 4 or 5 inches in front of the sit bone, and then taking the right heel, the side of the heel, and just lay it in that space. And again, you can make a little hammock with your shoulders. Just don't take your shoulders up high. Hold onto the hip for a moment. Breathe. Notice where your breath is. Good. And then release that leg. And then both legs out in front for a moment. Just extend. Extend through the heels. Keep the feet on the floor. Extend through the heels for just a moment. And then we're going to find our seat for our invocation. So perhaps a folded seat. Perhaps you're sitting on both. Whatever is most comfortable for you. For just a moment to center ourselves. So finding a nice, comfortable seat. Bringing the hands into the heart, Anjali Mudra. Let the thumbs gently touch your sternum. And then letting the eyes either be soft with the gaze in front or close the eyes completely. Noticing anything that's making contact with the floor and soften it. And out of that soft base, let the spine rise up. Lifting the crown of the head toward the sky as the sit bones sink down into Mother Earth. With gratitude, we salute all the great yoga masters, past and present. Special prayer of thanksgiving for Babaji. With joy, we recognize the excellent wisdom teachings of yoga and Ayurveda. And with vigor, we dedicate ourselves to self-transforming practice. Self-transforming practice. What do you need this morning for self-transformation? Turn that into a positive phrase as if you already had it. Turn that sentence into a positive phrase and repeat it 3 times to yourself, your sankalpa. And then thinking of someone or something which needs a little extra energy, a little boost that you can dedicate your work this morning to them. Letting those 2 thoughts slip out of your mind down into your heart and hold them there throughout the practice. I'm going to chant one Om to open, and hopefully you can join in with me wherever you are. Exhaling the breath all the way out. Pull the belly back to the spine, release the belly, and let a nice big breath come in to Om. And then on your next inhale, letting your eyes flutter open. And letting your arms just reach out as if you were taking a nice big yawn over toward the left side. Make some big circles with your wrist. Just lean a little bit over toward the left. Start to open up the intercostals on the left side, the ones between your ribs. Go ahead and rest your left arm down on the floor. Reach at a diagonal line first. So reaching up, 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 over to the side and up, a nice diagonal line. Good, and then using your left arm, just push back off, and then a little yawn over to the right side. Move your wrist in one direction and the other, just a little bit of a yawn. Yawning open at the right rib, left ribs. And then putting your right hand on the floor, just reaching into that diagonal line. Press the left sit bone firmly into the floor. Reach the left arm away from the ribs. Good. A little bend to the right elbow and then push off. And then both arms back behind, interlacing the fingers there. Squeeze the ribs open, shoulder blades kissing in the back. And then we're going to release and give ourselves a big hug, right arm on top. Good. A little massage into your shoulder blades. Just press in with your fingers into the shoulder blades. And then take your elbows down for a moment. Just relax them. And again, press into what's called the spine of the scapula, this hard bone coming down this, you're feeling there with your shoulder blades. Good. And then lift the shoulder blades up. Lift the arms up. And then unhug back behind. Take the uncomfortable interlace. Squeeze the knuckles down toward the floor. Open up the shoulders as much as you can. Shoulder blades kissing in the back. Good, and then let's release and hug with the left arm on top. All the way on top, a little bit of massage back into the shoulder blades. Good, and then open the arms all the way up overhead. Let's bring the hands down to the heart. And then we're going to go into our table pose. Good. Great, okay. So finding yourself in table, making sure you have your wrist right underneath your shoulders and your knees right underneath your hips. Good. So let's start with some barrel rolls. Just cleaning out the inside of a barrel. Don't forget the mouth of the barrel, the bottom of the barrel. Your hips and your shoulders stay in the same plane. So not just dropping out a hip, keep control. Cleaning the whole of the jar, both directions. Switch as you need, as you want. Good, and then coming into neutral for a moment. Gaze at the floor for a moment. All the toenails into the floor. And then curl the toes under and press into the ball of the foot as much as you can. Begin to arch the spine and look back at your belly button. Crown of the head toward the floor. Push the floor away. Keep breathing. Breath will be shallow. Breathe into the back ribs. Keep breathing. Looking at your belly button. Tucking the chin into the chest. Rounding the spine. Spread it throughout the ribs. And then begin to peel the chin off the chest. Lay the toenails out again. Come back through neutral. And then taking the crown of the head toward the ceiling, back of the head toward the tailbone, tailbone toward the back of the head. Press the toenails into the floor. Press the hands into the floor. Press, arching, arching. Breathe. Good, and then coming into neutral, come back onto your knees for just a moment. Good, so just feeling onto your knees. We're gonna take the left leg forward. So just swinging it forward. Good. As if you were on train tracks. So you're not, this foot is not in the middle of the mat. It is over where it belongs, right outside of your left hip, okay? Create a 90-degree angle. Great. And then let the arms rise up. Good. Gazing up. Take a nice inhale. And as you exhale, bring the hands into the heart. And as you inhale, twist over to the left just a little bit. Keep your head lined up with your sternum so that your head is not fooling you as to how far you're twisting. On your next exhale, come back to center. Good. And we're going to make this a little more active. So arms up. Good. Root down as you exhale. Inhale, twist. Exhale, return. Inhale, twist. Exhale, return. One more. Inhale, twist. Exhale, return. Hands to the heart. Place your hands on the knee. Place your forearms on the knee. Lean forward a little bit. Make sure you have that angle so you have all of your foot in front. Your knee was stacked right over the ankle. And then go ahead and release the arms and step back to where we were. Good. Coming up. Great. And now we're going to swing forward the right leg. Find that right angle with the front leg. Good. And then arms reaching up, out and up. Good. Looking up for a moment. Just let the gaze go up toward the ceiling. Good. And then bring the hands into the heart. Keep the chin right over the fingertips. On your next inhale, twist to the right. Don't let your knee travel. And then exhale back into the center. And again, we're going to go active. Inhale up. Exhale, ground. Inhale, twist. Exhale, return. Inhale, twist. Exhale, return. Inhale, twist. Exhale, return. Inhale, twist. And exhale, return. Good. And then both hands down again on the floor. Reach both legs back, but now arms are up. Come up onto the tenting of the fingers, so just on the fingertips for a moment. Good. Curl the toes under in the back, and then take your hips toward your heels. Gaze forward like a frog for a moment, like you're going to just leap. Armpits are lifting, elbows are lifting, shoulders are lifting. Good. And then lower to your forearms. And you may need to scoot out a little bit. You can decide how you want to do this as we begin to come up. We're going to come up and do our cat tilt from here. So curling and arching in the other direction. Follow your breath. Exhale, belly comes in, crown of the head toward the floor. Inhale, looking forward. Exhale, arching in the other direction. Inhale. One more. Exhale. Inhale, gaze forward, coming up onto the hands, nice and tall. And then stepping your left leg back, right leg back. Press through into plank. Press through the heels, strong in the arms. We're going to drop to the knees in just a moment. We're going to pull the belly in. Long line of energy. And then drop to the knees where they are. Don't move them. Good. Keep them just as long and as extended as you have. Lift the belly. So a modified plank. Usually gazing at the floor so that your spine and your head create one long line. Good. And then walk your hands back and come up onto your knees. We're going to abduct our right leg. So just opening the right leg out, toes are facing me. Good. And you're just stacked right over your left leg. So the leg is abducted, it is not rotated at all, it's just taken away, okay? Good. So arms are gonna reach up. This is Parikrasana, gate pose. We're gonna exhale, close the gate, and inhale, back into center. Exhale, close the gate, and inhale. Exhale, close the gate, and inhale. Last one, close the gate, and inhale. So now we're gonna bring the hands into the heart, release the arms, bend the knee, and take it into external rotation. Keeping the groin open, and look out and make sure that you can barely see the big toe on the inside of your right knee, just barely. Nothing else, everything else is lined up. And I can only see like my big toe knuckle, really. Now we're keeping our arms in line with our torso, not our leg. Arms open out to the side, good. Roll the shoulders up, swallow your neck, and then down. As far down as you can press them down, depress, and then relax the shoulders. Reach out through the fingertips with electricity. And then take your gaze out over your right fingers. Good. Come back all the way up to the arms up, hands into the heart, and then release the right leg. Good. Just wiggle for a second, just wiggle a little. And you can do this with your toenails on the floor or your legs curled, your toes curled under, whichever is most comfortable and provides you the most stability in this kneeling pose. Now we're gonna abduct the left leg. Toes are pointing toward me, no rotation, just abduction. And make sure that you're lined up, not pressing out to a side or way into a side. You're lined up over your standing right leg. Good. So gate pose, arms up. As we exhale, close the gate. Inhale, open. Exhale, close the gate. Inhale, open. Exhale, close the gate. Inhale, open. Last one. Close the gate. And inhale, open. Hands into the heart. Just relax the arms for a moment. We're going to externally rotate, stacking the knee right over the ankle. Good. And making sure that the most you can see is your big toe or big toe knuckle on the inside of your leg. Your heel is completely hidden. The rest of the foot is hidden. And then again, keeping our arms aligned with our torso. So with that leg externally rotated, your belly button is no longer front and center. It went a little bit over to the left, as it should. You treat the whole of the torso as one big basket, okay? So arms up, swallow your neck again. Arms way up, shoulders way up, way up. And then way down, press, depressing the shoulder blades down as far as you can, and then buoyantly relax the shoulders. Reach through the electric fingers. Good. And then taking your gaze out over your left finger. Breathe. Breathing in the chest, belly is firm. And on your next inhale, arms up overhead, gazing back front and center, hands to the heart. Just release the arms and then return the leg. Great. From here, take the hips back to the heels. You can have the toes curled under or flat on the floor, however feels best for you. Breathe for a moment. Let's do a little shoulder work. Go ahead and bring the arms up overhead. Let the sit bones make contact with your heels. Good. Bend the elbows, place the hands on your shoulder blades. Good. And then elbows toward me. Elbows up and elbows toward me. One more time. Elbows up. Let your little fingers touch in the back, little fingers touch in the back. Good. And then open the arms up and back behind you. Open the hands as wide as you can. Good. Release the arms down. Let the fingertips graze the floor. And then we're going to go up into a balance. Good. All the way up into a balance. Hands to the heart. Good. So you can challenge yourself with this pose. We can stay right here. We can also extend out a leg here if we'd like. Balancing. And I can't do it and teach at the same time. I already know my weakness there. You can take one leg out at a time. And you can also play with releasing and coming back to Namaskar as you balance on your foot. But you're on your toes, not the whole foot. Bring the hands into the heart. And we're going to try our very best to stay on the ball of the foot all the way up. And release down. Perfect. Okay? Good. So now we're going to open ourselves and put into practice with a different orientation to gravity. Okay? So let's open up nice and wide, as broad as feels comfortable for you. We used to always say put your ankles underneath your wrist. But some people's legs are longer, some people's arms are shorter. It's not necessarily the case. So whatever is comfortable for your wide stance, find that space. Good. Just move a little bit at the hip joint. So when I say treat the whole torso as one basket, from here is the action. So do that with me for just a moment. Let's treat the whole torso, tailbone, crown of the head, all one unit. Tailbone, crown of the head comes forward, parallel to the floor, and then exhale, back up. Coming forward. Waist is not moving. Coming back up. It's all happening from the hip socket. And forward. And up. One more time. Forward. And up. Good. We're going to externally rotate the left leg. Watch your belly button right now, front and center. So to not compromise your SI joint, your sacroiliac joint. Belly button front and center. Put your finger there. Externally rotate the left leg. And notice how your belly button heads over to the left. Perfect. You're treating it as a unit. If you don't, you're going to unhinge your sacroiliac joint. Great. So bend the knee. Same principle. Seeing the inside of the big toe. Make any adjustment you might need. Press through the outside of the right foot. Spine is erect. Go ahead and walk your arms up, all the way up. Good. Open the arms, palms facing up to start. Shoulders are relaxed. Flip the palm. And then looking out over the fingers. Breathe. Belly to spine. Lift your toes for a little extra oomph in the foot, in the feet. Breathing. And on your next inhale, arms are going to come up overhead. You'll straighten the leg. Gaze back, front and center. Hands into the heart. Then relax the arms. Again, put your fingertip in that belly button and then unrotate and see how it came back front and center. You can move, and we're going to go to the other side. So now I have my right hand in my belly button. I'm going to externally rotate the right leg, and my belly button goes slightly out to the right. And I take my whole torso with me, opening the whole of the groin on the left side. Ready? Let's bend our knee. Press into the outside of the left foot. Wherever you're comfortable, lift up the pelvic floor. Lift and pull in the belly. Arms reaching all the way up and then down. Good. Gazing out over your fingers. Breathe. Lift the toes for a little extra oomph in the feet. Keep the pelvic floor lifted, belly in. Smooth out your breath. And on your next inhale, arms coming up overhead, gazing back front and center, straighten the leg and unrotate, belly button back to center. Bring our hands down to the hips. Put those fingers right into the hip socket so you can see that's where the action comes from. Tailbone, pubic bone headed back to the wall behind you. Crown of the head headed out toward me. Good. Interlace your fingers and just relax your hands on the lower part of your spine, close to your coccyx. Good. Press through the outside of the feet, lift the toes. And you can stay right here for the next 4 or 5 breaths. If you are inverting today, so as long as you're not on your menstrual cycle, as long as you don't have eye pressure problems, glaucoma, or uncontrolled high blood pressure or uncontrolled low blood pressure, we're headed over. Crown of the head toward the floor. Everybody else is just looking up if you need to not invert. Our hands are just resting. Our arms are resting. Breathe. And then on your next exhale, come back, join others who are parallel. Take an inhale, get long, spread the sit bones, exhale up. All the way up. Good. Heel toe a few times. Coming back together, release your arms, find Tadasana, and observe body, breath, mind. Relax the pelvic floor, the belly, the shoulders, the jaw. Go inside. And on your next inhale, letting your eyes flutter open. We're going to do a balance for just a moment. So get soft in the knees as if you were going to do some Tai Chi for a moment. This is a different balance, a new balance. Okay, so nice and soft. We're going to take our left heel out to the ground. So there is external rotation. Left heel is out to the ground. Squeeze the hips together. Left heel is out. Good. Bend over toward your left hip for a moment, just a little bit. Bend over toward your left hip. Press away with your left hand, and then up with your right hand. Now the key here is going to be taking our gaze to the back of our right hand toward the ceiling. Walk your gaze out toward me, and then up slowly, and hold. Keep the hips moving in, belly moving in. Breathe. Bring both hands to the heart. Take the gaze out in front and then press up. Good. Return the leg. Walk for a moment, just pacing. Good. And then bend your knees again. Really corncob stake those hips. Don't let them travel in any direction. Go ahead and externally rotate and place your right foot. Good. And then we're leaning over, but our chest is staying up and forward. Leaning over, wherever it's comfortable. Stake in that hip. Don't dump that hip out. Good. And then press away with your right arm. Left arm reaching up and pressing away toward the ceiling. And then walk your gaze out toward me and up to the back of your left hand. Settle your breathing. And on your next exhale, bring the hands into the heart. Inhale, come up. And exhale, foot back. Good. Walk it out. Find your Tadasana, close your eyes and notice body, breath, mind. Soft pelvic floor, soft belly, soft shoulders, soft jaw. And then slowly opening the eyes. We're going to make our way down to the floor. If you have a block, grab it before you go. Or a pillow or a bolster or anything, okay? Great, and let's go down. We're gonna squat first, my favorite pose. So just being in your squat for a moment. You can always put the block underneath you. Remember, there are a couple of sides to the block. You don't have to take the tall one. You see which one works for your legs, your length of your spine. Good. Relax the pelvic floor for a minute, but pull the belly in and breathe into the back of the chest. Find your low back ribs spreading out. And then open a little bit out to the right. Hands back into Anjali. And then open a little bit out to the left. And hands back into Anjali. Good. And then we're going to lower ourselves down to the floor. So I'm going to show you what we're going to do for a moment. So just watch for one moment. When we're lying down, we're going to do a little bit of movement with our legs and our hips. So from here, I'm going to draw my knee up into my chest, extend it up, but I'm going to create a little bit of external rotation right there. So my toes are no longer front toward me, they're out toward the side a little bit. With that little bit of external rotation, I'm going to open the leg just until it starts to really feel that it's opening. Just playing with my point of external rotation. I'm holding it with my left arm, left elbow is on the floor, and then exhaling back up. Okay, so we're going to do that with both sides, and then we're going to take our block and do a supported bridge pose. That is if you are inverting. That is an inversion. Otherwise, you can do a twist or whatever would feel good for you this morning, okay? So lying down on the floor. Feet are firmly placed. So feet are nice and firmly placed. Go ahead and draw in your left leg. Draw it in. And then extend the left leg, foot up toward the ceiling, flex the foot back towards you. And then a little external rotation. So take your toes from being towards your head out toward the left side of it. Good. And then getting your left arm ready to hold it, open the left leg. Do not let the right side move in any direction. Right side stays stable, nothing moves. Just going to your external rotation on the left leg. Breathing. Don't let the right side move. And then on your next breath, exhale, take it back up. Get rid of the rotation and release the leg. Good, same thing on the right side. Draw the knee up. Extend the leg up, foot is flexed, heel toward the ceiling. Good. A little external rotation, so move the foot and the leg all the way out, and then holding and getting ready to receive the leg. Keep the whole of the left side on the floor as the right leg opens. Do not let the left side come up or move or anything. Keep your elbow on the floor, support the arm with the shoulder. Breathe. Where's your breath? Belly is engaged. This requires deep core work. So you cannot breathe in your belly here. Breathe into your chest, low ribs, medium ribs, but not high ribs. And on your next exhale, back up, unrotate, release the leg. Good. And so from here, we're going to go into our bridge pose with support. So if you are inverting, if you're not inverting, then I'm going to suggest you do maybe windshield wiper pose, feet mat width apart, and open the legs to one side, come back to neutral, then the other side. Spend a few breaths in both of those sides. If you're inverting, take your block, place it underneath your sacrum, and lift your shoulders all the way off the ground because you now have the support of your sacrum. I can take my shoulders and my arms up toward the ceiling. And then I'm going to set my shoulders down underneath the ribs, underneath the clavicle. Don't look at me. Do not bend your neck. Look at the ceiling only at the ceiling. At any point, you're welcome to take your hips off the block now that you have your shoulders up and just breathe into a full bridge pose, Setu Bandhasana. Checking in, watch your breath. You can watch your belly move the organs out of the way. The diaphragm presses up against all of the organs in the lower belly. And then slowly release down to the block if you weren't there. Extend your shoulders up, move your shoulders up and out. And then take the block out of the way, lower yourself down. Now we're all moving into Shavasana, so ask yourself, do you need any additional pose? Check in. Is there anything that would feel absolutely delicious to you? So just consider it. You don't have to do anything at all. You're welcome to go right into Shavasana, corpse pose. That little taste of death at the end of every practice. Do not feel trapped by your mat. Let your arms and your legs extend enough that you feel open, that you can surrender to the floor, Mother Earth supporting the floor, the building that you're in, or outside. Relax your jaw. Hanuman, the monkey god, had a broken jaw. A broken jaw represented a broken ego. He went up to grab the sun thinking it was an orange and was tossed back down and broke his jaw. Can we let go of the ego for a little bit? Looking for any tension and letting it go. Slowly and gently letting your awareness come into the breath. Watching your belly or your chest rise and fall for a few breaths. Beginning to bring some movement into the fingers and the toes. Waking up your face and your head. Tongue roaming the mouth, eyes rolling in the socket, wriggling your ears, your nose. Opening the mouth wide as if you were yawning. And then how about a nice big overhead stretch? Reaching through the right side, right leg extends, right arm extends. Reaching through the left side, left arm extends, left foot extends. And then moving back and forth, left to right for just a moment. And then bend your knees, place your feet firmly on the floor. Bring your arms back down beside you. Lift your hips off the floor, shake them a few times, and over to the side, opposite knee. Draw your knees into your chest and roll over toward you. All nice and rolled up into embryo. Safe and secure. And then using the hand of your upper arm in front of your face, begin to rock out toward that hand and then tuck the chin into the chest, letting the head be the last thing that comes up, balancing it gently on your spine. Finding a comfortable seat again. Just being still for a moment, noticing the effects of the asana on the body, on the mind. Pranayama, control of the breath, restriction of the breath. This morning, our pranayama, we're going to do some of the swasayam kriyas, the self-restraint, the kriyas of self-restraint, learning how to control. So as we do these kriyas, some of them will use an abdominal breath, which means it's just a belly breath, nice and soft and easy. Some will use a chest breath, also nice and soft and easy. None of them use the full yogic breath, which is belly and chest together before a long exhale. So either the belly or the chest. The breaths are simple, and I'll say do this 5 times. If you do it 3, perfect. If you do it 7, perfect. Whatever falls within the amount of time before we move on to the next kriya. Kriya means action. So we'll have these actions that we're going to move into to explore and expand and control our breath. Okay? So tall spine, draw the belly in for a moment. Just noticing the belly, the breath, everything that's happening in the chest area. Just finding your breath. And then on your next exhale, draw the belly into the spine. And inhale into the chest only. Keep the belly stable. Exhale, chest recoils, lungs recoil. Keep the belly stable. Inhale into the chest. Exhale, belly to spine, stay stable. This time a couple of belly breaths. Belly releases. Breath comes in. Exhale, use the belly, take the breath out. Release the belly, breath comes in. Use the belly muscles, breath pushes out. Good. And then just relax for a moment into your natural breath. Just walk with me through the Kriyas. Kriya 1. Inhale slowly, gently into the chest. The breath is smooth and soft and gentle. Exhale slowly and gently through the nose. You're going to inhale through the nose into the chest. Exhale through the nose out of the chest. Belly stays stable. We'll do this 5 times. Chest breath through the nose, out the nose. Kriya 2. Inhaling through the nose into the chest, slowly, gently, smoothly. Exhaling through a partially open mouth. Inhaling into the chest through the nose. Exhaling through a partially open mouth. We'll do this 5 times. Chest breath on. Kriya 3. We'll inhale into the belly by relaxing the belly muscles. Breath comes in. We'll exhale, pulling the belly muscles out through the nose. Inhale, belly through the mouth. Exhale, nose. We'll do this 5 times. Begin. Relax the belly for the breath to come in through the mouth. Use the belly muscles through the nose. Exhale. Slowly, just being aware of where you are, breathing softly, gently, smoothly. We're going to move into Kriya 8. We're going to inhale into the breath in 5 even sips through the nose. We're going to exhale through the mouth. Long, slow, smooth exhale. We're going to inhale through the nose into the chest in 5 even sips of air. Pause and then exhale out the partially open mouth. We'll do this 5 times. Belly stays stable throughout the practice. Bringing the practice of the Kriyas to a close, making any minor adjustments in your seat for meditation. Finding your seat soft and your spine erect. Letting your eyes close slowly or a soft gaze. Relaxing the back of the hands on the legs or in the lap, whichever is most comfortable. Relax your face, your shoulders, your belly, the whole base of the body. The breath becomes soft and shallow, just enough to sustain. As the mind turns in, watch the breath for a few moments. Just observing, not changing. Beginning to feel your body light like a feather, floating above the ground. Just imagining yourself a tiny, tiny bit above the ground. Imagining your body beginning to fill with light. Until your whole body is like a bubble of light, floating, barely floating, just above the ground. While keeping your stula, sharira, your gross body exactly where it is. Allowing your focus to come to the subtle body, sukshma sharira. And letting the subtle body, that ball of light, begin to drift up toward the heavens. Stay stable in your gross body and let your subtle body drift. Imagining all of us light beings drifting into space. Floating gently above the earth. tethered with our soul, yet free. Relaxing the gross body into itself and letting the subtle body drift. Finding nourishment for your subtle body, your causal body, your soul, out in the universe. All of us as one. Not tethered, free and easy. And then slowly and gently begin to bring your subtle body back toward you. Do it gently, just letting it float back through the universe into our realm. And slowly making its way back into your gross body. Lighter for the knowledge that you gain. This gross manifestation of our soul. The subtle samskars, impressions that move with us from one life to the next. And our causal body, where we indeed are one. Bringing our meditation to a close. Hands moving into the heart, Anjali Mudra. Any merit we may have earned this morning, we lift it up to the welfare of all sentient. Remember your sankalpa and repeat it to yourself 3 times with positive intent. Remembering your offering. And letting those 2 thoughts drift out of your mind again, down into your heart. And out of your heart into the palms of your hands. And symbolically lift them up and let them go out into that same universe, big enough for everything. Bringing the hands back into the heart. Hari Om Tat Tat. Namaste. I'm coming to you. I'll be right there. Let me switch it so you can speak. Okay, now everyone can talk. Let me go into, good, here we are in our gallery so I can see everybody. Hi, Sue. Hi, Donna. Hi, Wendy. Antonia, Nayana, Carlita, Cam, Sylvia, Charmon, excellent. Mamata, Clemi, Hope, Manjula, Ashok. Ashok was the first this morning. And Jean, nice to see you. Nancy, always. And Julieta, my última. Yeah. It's really nice to have you all this morning. Any questions, any comments? How was working with your hips and your SI joint? Was that okay? Did you feel that you were starting to control moving it as a unit? Hi, Juan Carlos, I didn't see you. Maniba, namaste.
Namaste.
And Sandra, nice to see you. Maggie, Kristen, okay. New people are Ken, nice to have you, Surya Prakash. So any questions or any comments about anything at all? I've been working a lot with the SI joint. I used to have I'm one of those people that sleeps with a pillow between her legs every night, because if not, I wake up with low back thing happening right there at the SI joint. And I've begun releasing my pillow from work all night long, just to see what happens if I pull a leg up and then I switch and then I pull a leg up and then I put the pillow back. It's a little bit of activity, but I do get up twice in the night to go to the bathroom. So every time I come back and forth, I do my little leg thing, just to check on how my sacroiliac is doing. And I must say, since really trying to understand about stability in the low back and the relationship of the low back, the lumbar spine to the sacroiliac joint, my back is so much healthier. And I don't know, I think probably those of us who do suffer from any low back issues, it's probably more stress related than anything, when the muscles just all over our body just tighten up. And some of the ones that are big, strong muscles will just set, right? You've heard people say my back froze, and that's what they mean, like frozen shoulder. I mean, it froze, it's not going anywhere. And people, there's no exercise you can do that will actually undo it. You have to finally get the muscle to release and relax. And so that's why people go to the chiropractor and do everything. And but yoga wise, I think if we just work on stabilizing that joint, what I think is a lot of times in class without meaning to, especially, that's why I don't like vinyasa per se, not because I love to do a personal vinyasa practice, a meditation in movement. I love to do that slowly and mindfully myself, but I don't like to teach it because people are not taking time between the poses to see if their alignment is healthy. So a lot of times their knees hanging in, and that's going to relate to what's happening not only in the knee, but in the sacroiliac joint, right? That's going to have a tension on the femur, and the femur's got a tension in the acetabulum. And so all of that is going to then pull that sacroiliac joint. So really trying to make sure that we're going to yoga class and not hurting ourselves worse than if we weren't going to yoga class. So like noticing about moving the whole trunk as a unit and really keeping the SI joint safe in that particular way. Any thoughts, comments, questions? Yes, Maggie, unmute. You have to unmute.
Okay, now?
Uh-huh.
You told me to sleep with the pillow between my legs because of my pain in the back. And but
for a few years.
For a few years, I can't. I move so much, and I use it to start the sleep, but I end up with the pillow on the floor every morning. So
maybe get a smaller pillow, a smaller, fatter pillow. Because a lot of it has to do with the size of the pillow, honest to God. If the pillow's too big, you can't keep it there. It just moves out in the night. Yeah. So people who have a weak low back or a weak low back SI joint relationship really need to sleep with that pillow until sleeping with the pillow starts to convince that space that because it's tight, it is holding on. That whole joint is like, there's a lot of ligaments there that are, of course, to their maximum all the time. But across it, there are a lot of muscle and tendon and everything going across the whole iliacus. It's one big old joint, right? One big old thing back there. But all of your traps and everything that are there, there's a big aponeurosis, which means there's no red tissue there. So all of that stuff, it just pulled and tight. And so the reason you're putting the pillow in between your legs, so it's pulled tight, and then you hang the knee over, it has to pull tighter. So when you put the pillow there, it can relax the low back SI joint relationship, right? So if the pillow is in there, that is not pulled like that. If you let the knee just dump forward, then you're pulling on that joint and destabilizing it. I don't know if that makes any sense. Yeah, Sue,
Ginger, is there a correlation between that and sciatic nerve pain? I had an X-ray done, and he said and I know this probably isn't the forum, but just if you could give me just a little bit of information. He said my pelvis is tilted and rotated. Is that the SI joint that's appearing on an image?
Well, it is appearing there. Yes, that's exactly what's on the image, and he's relating the sciatic nerve, which is going to have a relationship with your piriformis muscle, which it may go through it, it may go under it. It depends on your body, right? But yes, that is the whole part of the SI joint that's there where that's happening. So stability in that joint will help, and you can unrotate a pelvis. I promise, you can. Yeah. Does it take a lot of work? Yes. Does it take more relaxation than work? Yes, it takes more relaxation than work. So, but it's starting like to realize about the whole unit of the body, right? Keeping it super stable, keeping it nice and stable. And it doesn't mean that you can't turn. You want to turn, but you want to take your turn where the ribs are made to really have that rotation, which is, of course, the thoracic spine. The lumbar spine, those big, huge bones, are really made for bearing heavy weight, not for twisting. And so a lot of people twist in that and destabilize the SI joint immediately. And when I see that happening, so for some people, like, you know, a teacher will say, square your hips, keep both hips on the floor and move. And some people can do that. But a lot of times a hip will lift up. When it does lift up, you need to just go with that hip lifting up and then play with, like, maybe taking it down a little bit and then letting it lift up, and maybe taking it down a little bit, and just kind of play with where that envelope is, where you're pushing the envelope, right? Because if you just push it all the way back down to the floor with your pure force, all you're going to do is spasm a muscle. That's all that's going to happen, right?
And that's what I feel too, when, you know, if I change, it could be standing for long lengths of time when I haven't been, and I feel the muscle spasm, anything that is a big change and it's prolonged.
Yeah. Well, you're lucky that this weekend we're going to talk. The first thing is about the SI joint.
Good. That's why I brought it up. Thank you.
And I'm going to post the Donna Fari's third SI video today. Yeah, I just received it this morning and haven't had a time. So in our yoga teacher training, of which we have several of them in the room, Cam and Nayana are the assistants, and Sue, there was somebody else there a minute ago. Donna was there. There she is. It's when somebody leaves, it switches who's where. Like, where is she? Yeah, so we're doing biomechanics of asana right now in that class. And so we're just headed into the spine, which I treat as three separate things, because the way that the lumbar moves is so different than the way that the thoracic moves, which is different than the way that the cervical moves. So we kind of hit each of the three of them separately. But we're going to start with the SI joint tomorrow. So I wanted to do Kriyas with you. I wanted to do all 8, but I looked at my clock and it was like, oh, okay. I mean, even when I started them, I knew I wasn't going to get through all 8. I was going to have to pick and choose. But I wanted us to differentiate between really bringing it into the belly, bring it into the chest. And now that we're all home alone, well, at least I know you're alone where you are right now. You may not be truly home alone, but you can do some of the breathing practices through your mouth and not feel like you're, compromised, because you can do it right there. So like having us see that what happens when the breath comes in through the mouth and into the belly, it's cooler, it's not filtered, and it is cool. So that's not good for normal breathing. We don't want either of those things for normal breathing. We want to breathe through our nose, right? But when we're doing breath control, for a lot of these, it's really healthy to occasionally breathe in through the mouth, notice the coolness of it, and then use the abdominal, which brings it online your parasympathetic nervous system instead of the up here sympathetic nervous system. And the meditation, everybody got back safely. I thought, oh my goodness, what if somebody says, I just kept going? I guess they wouldn't be on the screen now. They would have already,
That was beautiful, that meditation. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Yeah, I never know what I'm going to be given for a meditation, I tell you. It's like, woo. It was like, I thought somewhere in there, I said, should I have given him a string, like a balloon, to pull it back down? But I thought, no, they can make it. They can get back home. They all know home, right? Home. You know where your home base is. Yeah. Well, it's lovely to spend some time with you. It's so nice. Like part of me really wants to do it every single day with you again, and I have to do my own practice, as you know, and then my day, because I'm back working pretty much full on at Mount Madonna online, I just don't have the time. So there are a couple of other teachers that I want to recommend to you. Like my friend Jen Rand is doing Wednesday and Friday, and Nancy, who's here, is doing Mondays, same time, 7 a.m. to 8:15 or so. So if you just want to PM me or something, I'll put you in touch with anybody. Nayana, yours is Tuesday afternoon at what time? Nayana?
It's at 4. It's
4
at 4. Yeah.
4 p.m. And hers is a gentle class for all levels. So I want you to know there's plenty of stuff out there. And somebody else Tanya is not going to be doing her meditation classes for a little while, just due to health reasons, but she will be back soon and she'll let us know when that happens again. Okay, well, it's so nice to spend time with you. I really enjoy it. It makes my day, makes my week. Okay, everybody, have a wonderful Thursday and a great weekend. And hopefully see unos en español el martes y otros el día jueves, okay? Perfecto. Muchas gracias.